محمد
يا رسول الله يا حبيب الله يا رسول الله يا حبيب الله يا نبي الله محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. My topic is important terminologies in moon sighting. Important terminologies in moon sighting. So number one, we are going to talk about definition of astronomy. So what is astronomy? How do we define astronomy? Astronomy is the scientific study of matter in outer space, specifically their locations, positions, their revolutions, and so on. So, when you study scientifically matters in outer space, then you are talking about astronomy. So, astronomy in the same context, when we Islamize it, it becomes Islamic astronomy. And what do we mean by Islamic astronomy? In my own definition, Islamic astronomy is the study of matters in outer space with specific reference to the Holy Quran and the works of past Muslim scholars. So it is a study, scientific study of matters in outer space with specific reference to the Holy Quran and the works of Muslim scholars. So that is what we mean by Islamic astronomy. And that will lead us to talking about those verses that are directing us to astronomy. And one of them is وَالْقَمَرَ قَدَّرْنَاهُ مَنَازِلَ حَتَّى عَادَ كَالْعُرْجُونِ الْقَدِيمِ لَا الشَّمْسُ يَنبَغِي لَهَا أَن تُدْرِكَ الْقَمَرَ وَلَا اللَّيْلُ سَابِقُ النَّهَارِ وَكُلٌّ فِي فَلَكٍ يَسْبَحُونَ. So fi falak, that is where the name Ilmul Falak comes in, which is astronomy. So wal-qamar, the moon, qaddarnahu manazila, we have programmed it. We have programmed it, not destined. Destined is not scientific. But when you say we programmed it to have manazil, so manazil, mansions, that is not scientific. Or you say phases of the moon. We programmed it to have phases of the moon. So, and there are 8 traditional phases of the moon. So it will go from the first phase to the last phase, which is the 8th phase. Hatta anda kal orjunil kodim. So that orjunil kodim is the last phase. So, and it returns kali as if it is orjunil kodim, a dry date stop. And that is how the waning crescent looks like. So the waning crescent is the original Qadim. So, the Quran also talks about Ash-Shamsu, Ash-Shamsu Tajiri Limustaqarrin Laha. So the moon, the sun, Tajiri, it moves, it rotates, it revolves. Tajiri Limustaqarrin Laha, in an axis that is specific to it. In an axis that is specific to it. In my introduction to this seminar, I explained that, and I talked about al-ijazul ilmi fi al-Quran al-Karim. So amazing fact about the Holy Quran. And what is the definition of amazing fact? There are things that scientists are just discovering, whereas the Holy Quran has mentioned it several years ago. So one of them is the the sun rotates, it moves in an orbit or in an axis that is specific to it. So that axis that is specific to it is the new discovery of the scientists, and they named that axis as solar apex. So solar apex is the interpretation of al-mustaqar shams. So that's one of the amazing facts of the Holy Quran. Zalika takdirul aziz al-alim. And that is the programming of Almighty Allah. And Allah has also said earlier on that, Wal Qamar qadarnahu manazil. The moon, we have programmed it to have phases. It means that there is a programming for the moon. And if you study the programming, you understand the moon better and be able to talk to the extent that you tell us when the moon will come out, tell us when the moon will set, you tell us when the moon will rise, you tell us when the moon will appear, you tell us when the moon will be visible, you tell us when the moon will not be visible. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam might not have been able to go details into this because he wasn't a scientist, he wasn't an astronomer. It is even wrong for you to call the Holy Prophet an astronomer. Allah never called him an astronomer in anywhere. Allah never called him a scientist. Allah called him prophet, and prophet is greater than scientist. Aha. So if you read any of this now and there is a fault in it that is not scientifically correct, and you have already addressed the prophet as the greatest scientist, that means both of you are wrong. Aha. So we should watch our terminologies when we are talking. So from there we go to the next topic, which is a concept of moon sighting. Very simple. Moon sighting implies the techniques involved in sighting a new crescent. So the techniques are much. The techniques are much. So the techniques are what is even going to take us to the application of software, the use of telescope. So it is pathetic that people using telescope and sophisticated instrument, they didn't sight anything. Why someone without any aided eye, without any without any instrument, is the one claiming that he sighted the moon. So that is an embarrassment. So such person should find something to do about it. Yeah, challenges. What are the challenges of moon sighting? Moon sighting has been a big issue in the Islamic world, not only in Nigeria alone. It has been a big issue in the Islamic world that the Muslims have not succeeded in solving. Why? Because there are several problems. So people are not really thinking scientific. Some are of the opinion that, okay, science is bidia, science is haram, and all those things. And some have believed that, okay, they must follow Saudi Arabia in all their announcements. Whereas Saudi Arabia, Allah never said we should follow Saudi Arabia in any way. Even the Holy Prophet never said we should follow Saudi Arabia in any way. Because the Prophet Muhammad did not know what is Saudi Arabia. Yeah, they didn't say you should follow them. The Prophet did not know what is Saudi Arabia. It did not exist during the time of the Holy Prophet. So it didn't exist during the time of the Holy Prophet. So some people just things that you cannot find, they are not basis. So what Saudi uses is the Qura calendar system. There is no time to talk about Qura calendar system, but it is something you can Google. So Qura calendar system is a principle. It's a principle, and the principle says that the moon must be born before sunset, and the moon must set after sunset. So if that happens, either you sight the moon or you didn't sight the moon, automatically the next day is the first day of the new month. So if you want to know when Saudi is going to begin next year Ramadan, just go to the Qura calendar system. Watch, study the time of birth of the moon, when it is going to born, and when the moon is the moon going to set after sunset. So if it is going to set after sunset, no problem. Automatically the following day is the first day. So that is what they use. Challenges. So everywhere, almost every part of the world, there is problem. Something that we should not even have problem for. Just leave the decision for the scientists to help you handle. Because when they tell you that the sun will rise at this time, they are correct, they are accurate. You use their software, use their applications to determine your time of salat. So why are you denying them when it comes to another scientific matter, which is sighting the moon? So in terms of salat, you believe in them. That one is not bidia. But when it comes to giving you facts about the moon, you disbelieve in them. So moon sighting has been a big issue in the Islamic world that the Muslims have not succeeded in solving. Solution to challenges. I am a one thing because I reach a decision and I don't waste time. Application of science and technology is the solution to all these things that we are facing. Yeah, because they've actually done a great work. They've come up with facts that we cannot even contradict them. So they are able to tell us when the sun is going to rise, when the sun is going to set. I have an application at home on my system that I don't need to go out before I know that it is raining outside. And application is so wonderful that it doesn't use internet. So if it is raining outside, it will tell me it's raining. If the moon is rising, if the sun is rising, it will show. It will show me how it is rising. No matter any planet you want to search for, just type it on it to bring it out. So these are things that people have done. So conjunction. So what are why do we have such problems? There are many problems. In 2012, I was telling them at the Lagos Central Mosque that one of the problems that we are having is that some people, they base on their sighting on, they will say their spirit tells them that Monday is Ramadan, first of Ramadan. I know some. Some people will tell you that some people make use of sand divination. Sand divination. So that's why I recommended that book, Why Astronomy by Adnan Abdulhamid. It's from the north and the lecturer. So go and look for the book Why Astronomy. You understand many things. And some base their own on Hisab. Hisab is calculation. So if you meet someone that understands Hisab very well, he's going to get an answer. But the answer he's going to get is the answer of the birth of the new moon. You get answer to new moon, not new crescent. So most of the time they are correct, but the answer they will get is time of new moon, and there is difference between new moon and new crescent. There is time we are going to explain that. So effects. Okay, conjunction. So what is conjunction? Conjunction, it can be topocentric conjunction and it can be geocentric conjunction. So it is geocentric when you are specific to the center of the earth, but it is topocentric when you are picking a point on the earth surface which is not the center. So conjunction itself, what is it? Conjunction is a phenomenon or a process whereby the waning crescent goes into an invisible state and it reappears as a new crescent. So the end product of conjunction is new moon, and the new moon is an invisible moon. So most of the time conjunction occurs around 28th, 29th of the end of a lunar month. That is when conjunction occurs. It occurs in the east. It occurs in the east, not the west. So conjunction now, where is the sun rising from? Okay. We face here. So that means that here is the east, here is the west. So by now, the sun is setting at the west. So conjunction occurs at the east. Conjunction occurs at the east. That's the question I'm going to ask during the assessment. So conjunction occurs at the east. That means the moon is in the east. Cardinal points. How many cardinal points do we have? Traditionally, the primary cardinal points are 4. The secondary cardinal points are what? They are 8. They are 8. So we pick Shamal. Shamal is north. Janub is south. Gurub is west. Shuruk or Mashrik or Sharq is east. So this cardinal point is important, and that's why you are able to determine your Qibla. So if people are talking about Qibla, forget about what you read in Hadith. So scientists are talking, you forget about Hadith. So what is Qibla? The definition of Qibla is the bearing of the Kaaba from any location of the earth. The bearing of the Holy Kaaba from any location of the earth. So forget about the hadith that says that the Qibla is in the east. Not, so is Qibla is in the east. So even if that hadith is correct, it's not for the whole world. The Qibla is the bearing of the Kaaba from any location on earth. So if the Kaaba is here, those people there, they will be facing here. If the Kaaba, people here, they will be facing here. People here, they will be facing here. People here, they will be facing here. And if you are talking about Kaaba, Qibla, there is Ainul Qibla, there is Jihatul Qibla. Ainul Qibla for Nigeria is 63.4. 63.4 degree northeast. So northeast, that is secondary cardinal point. So when you pick north, south, west, east, so northeast. So for Ainul Qibla is specific for someone that is seeing the Kaaba, that is close to the Kaaba. But if you are far from the Kaaba, you use Jihatul Qibla. So it may not be exactly 63.4 degree northeast, but it will be in that direction. To be in that direction. So very simple. Things that are not difficult, and we are giving ourselves headache. Okay. So conjunction. So conjunction occurs in the east. That means people claiming to sight the moon. The moon can only be sighted from the west. So during conjunction, nobody can claim sighting. So if anybody claims sighting, that is a fallacy. Because the moon can only appear from the west. And in conjunction time, the moon is still at the east. So it will now start traveling from the east to the west. So it will travel from east to the west to appear as crescent. And it will take him several hours, 13 hours, 14 hours. So if it is between 13 and 15 hours, you can sight it with the use of telescope that is sophisticated, provided the weather condition is fine. But with the naked eye, it will be like 15 hours to 17 hours, provided the weather condition is fine and there are no inhibiting factors. Because there can be inhibiting factors. What are those inhibiting factors? Number one is weather condition. Number two is motion of the moon. Because the moon undergoes two motion. Fast motion, slow motion. If the moon is undergoing fast motion, you may sight it. If it is undergoing slow motion, you won't sight it. Because fast motion, it means it is closer to the earth. Slow motion, it means it is far away from the earth. So, and another thing you need is what is the percentage geocentric illumination of that moon? Most of the time, if the percentage illumination is less than 1%, you cannot sight anything. Why? Because the moon is a non-luminous body. Non-luminous body, it has no light. It is visible by reflection. It is reflecting the light from the sun. And there is difference between reflected light and the light resulting from combustion. The light of the sun is resulting from combustion, generating heat and energy and light together. But the one of the moon is not generating heat, it's not generating energy, it is only generating light, and that kind of light is reflected. So a reflected light is described in the Quran as nur, while irradiating light through the process of combustion, generating heat and energy is described as diya, who are lazy. Ja'ala shamsa diya'an wal qamara nura. No time to go through. I said I want to summarize everything I want to talk about. So the conjunction is the phenomenon when the waning moon or crescent of an outgoing lunar month become invisible. So that outgoing moon is called the waning crescent. So I will explain that later. So effect on sighting. What's the effect of combustion? What's the effect of conjunction on sighting? The crescent cannot be sighted during this process by any optical means, even by the most sophisticated telescope. You cannot sight the moon. Because there are many things. If someone says he sights the moon, there are many questions we ask such people. So let them come to us, not that they will just announce something somewhere. Okay. So the effect, primary effect is that no sighting. Because immediately after, after conjunction, what you have is new moon, Komarun Jedi. And a new moon is an invisible moon. A new moon is called a dark moon, also known as astronomical new moon, ANM. So it is an invisible moon. Why? Because the side of the earth, of the moon that is facing the earth, is the dark side. So they said there are two sides for the moon, the dark side and the light side. The area facing the sun is the light side. The one facing the earth is the dark side. And that one occurs during topocentric conjunction or geocentric conjunction. Reflect on sighting again. Okay, we said the crescent cannot be sighted by any optical means. So, optical means that is more sophisticated cannot sight it. So, why will you compare that with your own naked eye? So, effect on sighting time. This can take about 11 hours to 13.50 hours before it can be seen with an aided eye. What is an aided eye? When you use astronomical telescope or a sophisticated optical instrument, then, or it can be 15.14 hours to 17 hours for a naked eye. For a naked eye. So, moon that is still 7 hours, 52 minutes or 58 minutes was what you said you cited during the time of the end of this Ramadan. And you told people to break their fast. So if people are following, you should not, people like us, we have reached a decision. We cannot follow anybody except knowledge. We cannot follow anybody except Allah and the Holy Prophet and knowledge. Because it is not written anywhere that we should follow Sultan or we should follow King or we should follow Imam. No, nowhere. I have my own interpretation when it comes to Atimullah wa Atimul Rasul wa ulil amri minkum. The Quran is talking about something different. So don't quote that one for me. According to Imam Al-Ghazali, wa ulul amri minkum are those juries in charge of knowledge. And they are the ones in charge of affairs. But that one is a talk for another day. Okay. Effect of sighting time. Sometimes there may be delay and it may not be visible on the earth by any optical aid or the naked eyes until after 23 hours due to natural forces. So what are those natural forces? We are going to talk about them. So when there is delay, the moon will not be visible. But anytime you are going to see it, it will be big. That's in my book, Moon Sighting and Technology. I called it, I named the topic Confusion of the Big Moon. So we are going to give everybody the book for free here. So you can read about obstetric conjunction too. Okay, so new moon. So what is new moon itself? New moon. This is the moon immediately after conjunction. It is an invisible moon, a moon that you cannot sight, a moon that you cannot see. It has no illumination or having an illumination that is very low, because a new moon has stage. The time it was first born, after immediately it was born, that is what they call iktiran. They call it mihak or iktiran, conjunction. So at that time, that particular time, it has no illumination. But as it grows, the illumination will be increasing gradually. But yet, you can still not sight it. So illumination of 0.2, you cannot sight it. 0.3, you cannot sight. 0.4, 0.5, you cannot sight. So, it has no illumination. It occurs on 28th or 29th, and it is also called dark moon. I've explained why it is called dark moon. New crescent. So, new crescent is called hilal. So there is difference between new crescent and new moon. Please note that today. New crescent is the next stage after conjunction. It is also called hilal, and it is visible. So what we actually intend by new crescent is the hilalu mutazayid. I'm going to explain that later. It has sufficient illumination. That is why it is visible. It occurs in the western horizon. So when someone sights moon, come, just ask him, where, from which direction? From which direction? If he says from the east, that person has failed. If he says from the north, as a northern horizon, that person has failed. If he says from the south, that person has failed. So the moon, the new crescent must be from the western horizon where the sun is setting. And you don't sight moon before sunset. It is impossible because the moon is visible by reflection, and the illumination of the moon of the sun overshadows that of the moon. So the sun is the one producing light itself, which has covered everywhere. Sometimes, if you are charging your laptop, there is a small. If the laptop is full, you have a fluorescent light, small. Now place it outside in the afternoon. You stand far away. Will you be able to see that small light? You won't. But if it is dark, you can still see that there is a light coming from somewhere. That is a similitude. So new crescent, it occurs in the western horizon. Now let us talk about moon phases. I said Allah talked about moon phases in the Quran. وَالْقَمَرَ قَدَّرْنَاهُ مَنَازِلَ حَتَّى عَادَ كَالْعُرْجُونِ الْقَدِيمِ. There is another verses in Surah Yunus. هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياء والقمر نورا وقدره منازل لتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب وكل شيء أفصلناه تفصيلا. Okay. Monazila. So what is monazil? Monazil refers to the phases of the moon, and there are 8 phases. The first one is new moon, Qamarul Jadid. That one occurs during the time of Iktiran. It is an invisible moon that you cannot sight. After that, you have waxing crescent, Hilalu Mutazayid. So that is what we are all looking for to start a new moon. So waxing crescent signifies the commencement of a new month, not a new moon, signifying the commencement of a new month. Waxing crescent, hilal, is what signifies the commencement of a new month, not a new moon. So if you don't know before, there is difference between new moon and new crescent. Yeah, the first phase is new moon, which is an invisible moon, a dark moon. They call it astronomical new moon. It is a product. It is a product of conjunction. So you have rising crescent, Hilal Mutazai. After that, you have first quarter. First quarter, they call that Arubul Awwal. Or they call it at Tarbiul Awwal. So first quarter. So that one looks like half. You see it around when the moon is like 7 days. 7th day, that is when you see that one. 7, 6, 7, 8. That is when you see it. Then after that, you have the waxing gibbous. The waxing gibbous. You call that Komoru Mutazai. It is bigger than half moon, but it is not up to full moon. Then after that, you have Al Komarul Kamil, which is called full moon or first moon. Full moon or first moon. And sometimes you can have 2 full moons in 1 month. If you have 2 full moons in 1 month, one will be called the blue moon. The blue moon is the one coming out the next day. The first one that is also a full moon is called full moon, but the next one will be called blue moon. Why? Because it doesn't occur regularly. It occurs seldomly. So when something occurs seldomly, you call that once in a blue moon. So they call it blue moon. Al-Qamarul Azraq. So after that, the moon will now start declining, going to the phase of Al-Urjun al-Qadim. So you have waning gibbous. Waning gibbous, that's when the full moon starts reducing. So after that, you have last quarter at Tarbiul Arubul Akir. Last quarter, down is half. There is orientation. If it is coming out, it looks like this. If it is going, it comes like this. And they come out at different times. So if the moon is waning, if it's going to an end, you start seeing it towards the morning. If it is rising, you start seeing it from Maghrib and towards the night. So, but after the full moon, the moon will be delayed. So maybe you start seeing it around 11 p.m. here, later 12 p.m., 12 a.m., later 1 a.m. and so on. And when it is raining, you start seeing it around 5 a.m. So some people will now tell you they sighted moon in the morning after soup, that it is a new crescent. Yeah, there is hadith. There's hadith. The Sahaba said he sighted moon in the morning. So and we know that those Sahaba, they are not scientists. So they only learned hadith from the Holy Prophet and Quran. So moon age. So what is moon age? What is moon age? The moon age is defined as the period or time the moon has spent since after conjunction. If conjunction occurs around 6 p.m. and by 7 p.m. the moon age is going to be 60 minutes or 1 hour. So 1 hour moon you cannot sight. Even 10 hour moon, 10 hours moon you cannot sight. So the moon age is addressed as geocentric moon age, and I've explained it. The hours or the period or the time between conjunction and the present state of the moon. So the conjunction occurs around 5 p.m. and you are in 7 p.m. now. So the moon age will be 2 hours. That's how to calculate moon age. So after that, we talk about moon set. The moon sets and the moon rises, just like the sun rises and the moon, just like the sun rises and it sets. So the moon also sets and it rises. So there is a way of calculating moon rise time. There is a way of calculating sunrise time. So if moon set time, so if the calculation, that is why astronomical calculation is needed. And the Holy Quran also talks about astronomical calculation. The Quran talks about astronomical calculation supporting it. Wallazi Ja'ala Shamsa Diya'a is the one who created the sun as a source of light resulting from combustion, producing energy and heat. While Qamara Nura, and he created the moon as a body reflecting light. The Ta'alamu, he created the sun.